Alright, instead of reviewing the whole show tonight, I'm going to depart from my usual format a little bit because there are 4 important points that I want to touch on that I think trump anything else that happened on Impact this week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with something good, then talk about some problems I noticed on the show, and then end with something good. Point number 1. This Petey Williams-Scott Steiner storyline. Instead of showing what happened between them last week after Steiner put the mask and the handcuffs on Petey Williams, Mike TNA said that if you wanted to see it in its entirety, you had to go online and watch it on the TNA Today show. And said that it was going to be the same deal with what was going to happen between them in the storyline this week as well. They also announced that next week, the fans would be able to go to TNAWrestling.com and vote on who Awesome Kong would defend the Knockouts title against on that show. This means that by emphasizing the importance of online exclusive content, TNA is now making a real effort to push the TNA website and, by extension, the TNA YouTube page. Both very good things. Point number 2. This AJ Styles Booker T match. Now, back in the 1990s, when the Attitude Era was heating up and the then WWF was beginning to retake the lead in the ratings back from WCW, after WCW had been beating them for some, I think it was like 80 some odd weeks in a row. In an ill-thought-out way to counter this, WCW decided to hotshot a world title match between Hollywood Hulk Hogan and Bill Goldberg, which ended with Goldberg winning the championship. They gave this match away for free on Nitro in an attempt to retake the ratings lead, and if memory serves, they did for that week. But after that, the ratings lead went right back to WWF, and WCW was left with their thumbs up their collective asses because they had just pissed away a potential money-making Starrcade main event match for nothing. This match between AJ Styles and Booker T had that exact same feel to it. You know, I was sitting in my chair watching the show thinking, what are they doing? I mean, I couldn't believe they were giving away this fan's dream match on free TV with no hype, no build-up, no effort to make it feel special, when with the right promotion and the right storyline, this could have easily main evented a pay-per-view. You know, I would have happily paid to see this match on pay-per-view, and I think there are a lot of fans out there that feel the same way. I mean, this was a terrible idea on TNA's part, and as they just threw away a potential money-making dream match for nothing. Point number 3. Next week is TNA's first ever heavily advertised, yet barely mentioned live Impact show. TNA has made it known that they hope to do a 1.3 rating with this show. Well, no offense to TNA, but at this point I really don't see that happening, and the reason is very simple. They are treating this live show like an almost complete afterthought. Yes, they had the announcers mention it a few times in passing throughout the show, but so what? There hasn't been a single commercial, or a single promo, or a single graphic to advertise this show at all. And aside from saying that the fans will get to choose Awesome Kong's opponent in her title defense, and aside from teasing the return of Sting at the end of the show, they have done nothing to prepare themselves for this. Nothing. And unless they've got some seriously huge tricks up their sleeves for next week, that live show is going to feel just like another generic episode of Impact, and it'll probably draw a generic Impact rating. 1.1, possibly 1.2. I don't think a 1.3 is realistic at this point at all, and TNA have themselves to blame for that. You know, this live show should feel like Clash of the Champions, but instead it just feels like business as usual. But I don't want to sound too negative here, because there are a lot of positives to talk about as well, which leads me to point number 4. 4. Can't count today. The build-up for Lockdown has been very good so far. They're pushing Angle versus Joe and the Lethal Lockdown match very, very hard. And they're continuing to announce the participants in the X Division Escape match. Although they seriously need to give Jay Lethal some promo time already to talk about putting his title on the line in that match. But aside from that one gripe, TNA is putting a great deal of focus on hyping these matches, and let's face it, these 3 matches are the main selling points of Lockdown. I mean, aside from the TNA Rough Cut segments, the VKM Grudge match is getting no attention at all, which is a very wise decision, since I don't think there are too many people out there who are planning to order the pay-per-view to see that match. You know, same deal with the Super Eric Jobber Monsters feud, not a lot of attention being paid there, and they made another wise decision in de-emphasizing Karen Angle and getting her away from Kurt in order to not distract from hyping the main event. All good decisions. TNA is putting the focus exactly where it should be. We're still weeks away from the pay-per-view, and the build to it has already been better than the build-up for Final Resolution, Against All Odds, and Destination X, which I talked about in previous videos. So, overall, there continue to be problems with the show, but there are a lot of positive steps being taken as well, so that's something to keep in mind. Anyway, that's about all I've got for this video. Remember, Impact goes live on Thursday night at 9 p.m., so be sure and check it out, and be sure you go to TNAWrestling.com on the 27th to vote for Awesome Kong's opponent in her title defense. In case you're wondering, I'm going to vote for Roxy Laveau. That's all for now. See you next time.